Level 1, the rider. You are 16 years old. Your father paid £200 for this appointment. The ship from Gravesend took 4 months. 3 men died on the crossing. Their names were struck from the manifest before landfall. Fort William rises from the Hookley riverbank. The air smells of river silt, burning dung and wet canvas. A factor meets your group at the quay. He does not shake your hand. He hands you a ledger. You copy bills of lading. You copy cargo manifests for muslin, saltpeter, Bengal indigo and raw opium. You work 12 hours a day. Your fingers cramp by the second hour. You do not stop. The company pays you £5 a year. The company knows £5 buys nothing in Calcutta. The company is watching to see if you understand that. The writer in the bunk above you dies of cholera in your 3rd week. He was 17 years old. His ledger is reassigned the same afternoon. His name is not mentioned again. You carry dispatch bags to the harbour before sunrise. You carry firewood to the senior clerk's quarters. You carry water from the well at the far end of the compound. No one explains the second rule yet. You watch the senior factors. They eat roasted meats. They drink Madeira. They ride horses along the river road. Their salary is no different from yours. You write faster. You are still here when 3 more riders are not. Level 2, the factor. You are 19 years old. A senior merchant summons you without warning. He asks 2 questions about double entry bookkeeping. 1 question about Mughal revenue assessment. You answer correctly. He writes something in a ledger. You are promoted. £10 a year. Still buys nothing. Now you are permitted to trade on your own account. Private trade. Separate from the company books. This is what everyone was waiting to become. Dhaka muslin arrives at the dock in oilcloth bales. 12 yards of the finest grade can be drawn through a gold ring without resistance. You buy at company procurement price. You sell to European merchants at 300% above that. You deposit the difference at the agency house on Clive Street. The clerk does not look up. He has seen this 10,000 in times. You supervise Indian brokers called shroffs. You inspect warehouse inventories. You certify cargo quality. A local cloth merchant sends a bolt of Benares silk to your quarters. You return it that evening. The factor next to you accepts his gift. Then a second. Then a bag of gold mohurs. 3 months later, he is transferred to a fever post on the Coromandel coast. No one mentions him after that. The June monsoon floods the lower docks. 14,000 rupees of indigo cargo rots in standing water. The company books the loss. Your consignment had been moved to elevated storage 2 weeks prior. The senior merchant watches you across the counting house floor. He says nothing. He is beginning to take notice. Level 3, the junior merchant. You are 24 years old. Promotion arrives in the dry season. You are given a room with a window. A personal servant named Rajan. A monthly allowance for entertaining local traders. 40 chests of raw Bengal opium bound for Canton. Each chest weighs 140 pounds. The customs official at Diamond Harbour requires a fee. You pay it without complaint. 600%. You study the company's firman. The imperial trading license granted by Mughal Emperor Farrukhsiyar in 1717. You learn what it authorises. You learn what it prohibits. You learn that no one in Delhi is currently capable of enforcing either. You travel inland for the first time. Past Calcutta into the paddy fields of western Bengal. The roads are eroded by monsoon runoff. The palanquin bearers move through ankle-deep mud. The villagers here pay revenue to the Nawab of Bengal. The Nawab pays tribute to the Mughal throne. The throne is held by an old man whose authority ends at his own palace gate. At a river crossing near Murshidabad, a toll collector demands payment on your cargo. The toll is illegal under the firman. You produce the document. He has 40 armed men. You have 2. You pay. You file a formal complaint with Fort William. Every rupee documented. Every date recorded. The complaint disappears into the administrative chain. Someone in London will read it in 14 months. What the firman authorises and what the firman enforces are not the same thing. You are beginning to understand what it would take to close that gap. Level 4, the senior merchant. You are 31 years old. You command the company's factory at Kasim Bazaar, 90 miles north of Calcutta. A walled trading post. 12 riders. 4 factors. 1 company physician who is rarely sober. Your private trade account holds 40,000 rupees. You hold shares in 2 cargo ships. You have interests in 3 agency houses. You attend the Nawab's Durbar at Murshidabad for the first time. Sirajud is 23 years old. He has held the title for less than 1 year. He is already cataloguing every European face in Bengal. He watches you from across the hall. His attendants carry curved khandas at their belts. 2 of them do not move their eyes from your group for the entire audience. You bow correctly. 1 English clock, 2 Venetian mirrors, a case of Bordeaux wine. You accept no seat when one is offered. You bow again at the door. That night, his spies follow your group back to the factory gate. In June 1756, Siraj marches 50,000 soldiers to Calcutta. Fort William falls in 3 hours. He locks 146 British prisoners into a room measuring 18 by 14 feet, one night. In the morning, 123 of them are dead from heat exhaustion and suffocation. This room will be called the Black Hole of Calcutta. You are 90 miles upriver when the dispatch rider arrives. You do not move for 30 seconds. Then you open your accounting ledger. You calculate the company's asset losses. You calculate the cost of retaking Calcutta. You calculate what a man like Clive would need in soldiers, ships and gold. What comes next is exactly that man. Level 5, the company captain. You are 35 years old. Robert Clive arrives from Madras with 900 British soldiers and 2,100 sepoys. You are attached as logistics coordinator. Procurement. Supply manifests. Sepoy muster rolls at 7 rupees per man per month. June 23, 1757. The mango groves near Plassey, 60 miles north of Calcutta. 50,000 men, 60 cannons, French artillery advisors from Chandanagar. 3,000. Clive had already decided the outcome 3 months prior. He paid Mir Jafar, the Nawab's own cavalry commander, 200,000 rupees and a promise of the Nawab's throne. In exchange, Mir Jafar agreed to stand his entire division down. The battle opens at dawn. At midday, the monsoon arrives. The Nawab's powder soaks through. His gun carriages sink into the mud. Mir Jafar's 45,000-man flank does not advance. The French advisors assess the mathematics and withdraw. The Nawab's centre collapses. 6 hours. 12,000 Nawab soldiers dead or scattered. 40 of yours. You watch from the rear supply line. You do not fire a weapon. You count crates. You count horses. You count surviving men. Siraj-ud-Dowlah is caught 3 days later. He is executed. Mir Jafar is installed as Nawab. £234,000. The company receives Bengal's annual tax revenues and tote 5 million. The 3 senior council members each receive £80,000. You receive a 2-line letter. You are promoted. War is commerce with different columns in the ledger. You have learned to read both. Level 6, the resident. You are 40 years old. The company posts you to Bihar as resident at a regional court. Diplomatic liaison. Oversight and revenue compliance. You live in a whitewashed villa outside the palace walls. You employ 40 servants. You prefer it that way. Your Hindustani is now fluent enough for unaided negotiation. Interpreters remember too much. The Diwani Grant of 1765 gave the company the right to collect land revenue directly from Bengal, Bihar and Orissa. The Mughal emperor retains a ceremonial payment of £270,000 annually. He retains nothing else. The company collects £3 million from the 3 provinces each year. Collection operates through zamindars, hereditary revenue agents who hold their land rights at company discretion. After a poor harvest, they arrive in the villages with quota sheets. You watch a zamindar seize a farmer's cattle because he cannot meet the figure. You watch a second farmer surrender the seed grain he needs for next year's planting. You watch a third man hand over his daughter's wedding jewellery. Your report that month describes revenue collection as proceeding normally. In 1770, the monsoon fails across Bengal. The harvest fails. 10 million people die over the following 2 years. 1 in 3. The revenue quota is not reduced. Your report that year notes adverse agricultural conditions and requests additional enforcement personnel. The Raja of the local court invites you to a festival. You attend. You eat the Raja's food. You drink the Raja's wine. His army was formally disarmed by company order in 1763. He has 200 ceremonial guards and no ammunition. He introduces you to his guests as a valued friend of the court. You smile. You do not correct him. Level 7, the council member. You are 46 years old. 7 men sit on the Bengal Council at Fort William. You are one of them. The 7 of you govern 40 million people. The council meets on Tuesdays and Fridays. 3 hours per session. Decisions travel to the farthest edges of Bengal in 12 days by mounted courier. You vote to renew the indigo contract in Bihar. The Tinkathia system requires farmers to cultivate 3/20ths of their land under company fixed pricing. The price is set below the cost of production. The farmers lose money on every crop. They grow it because not growing it has consequences. You vote yes. You vote to send 2 regiments to reinforce Madras against Tipu Sultan of Mysore. £45 per season. Projected Mysore revenue upon annexation, £400,000 annually. You vote yes. You vote to approve a land transfer removing a Zamindar family from 2,000 acres in Patna district. The beneficiary is a company-aligned merchant. You vote yes. A colleague on the council is receiving 12,000 rupees quarterly through a Patna intermediary. You know this. You say nothing. He knows something about your private trading ledger from 1771 that would not survive examination by the Board of Control. This is governance. The Pitt's India Act of 1784 has placed a parliamentary board of control over company affairs. Edmund Burke has been constructing a public impeachment case against Warren Hastings for 3 years. The word accountability is appearing in London newspapers next to the name of your company. You write to your solicitor. You begin transferring assets into your wife's name. You know how documents disappear. You have made them disappear yourself. Level 8, the governor. You are 51 years old. The court of directors appoints you governor of the Bombay Presidency. You govern 4 million people. You command 30,000 soldiers. You carry a personal seal weighing 6 ounces. The seal controls the fate of principalities. £25,000 per year. Your private arrangements generate 5 times that. You sign orders. You sign land grants. You sign regimental deployment orders. You sign criminal sentences. A Surat merchant convicted of defrauding company accounts is sentenced to 15 years transportation to Penang. You sign the warrant in 14 seconds. You will not remember his name by the following morning. The company now controls 3 presidencies: Bengal, Madras, Bombay. 90 million subjects. An army approaching 200,000 men, larger than the British Crown's own standing forces. A Maratha delegation arrives seeking treaty concessions. You keep them waiting 3 days. You receive them for 40 minutes. You grant them 15% of what they came for. They sign. There is no one left in India to appeal to. At night you stand on the veranda of Government House. Bombay Harbour is below. 11 ships lie at anchor, cotton, opium, silver coin waiting for the morning tide. The dock lamps are burning. The air smells of salt and tar. Your wife died of fever in Calcutta 5 years ago. Your eldest son manages your London investments. Your second son is a writer in Madras. He is 17 years old. You wrote to him 3 months ago. He has not written back. There is a report on your desk. You read his file. A junior official in Bengal, sharp, clean private trade record, the kind of man who notices what the senior factors drink. You recognise the shape of it. You set it aside. You pour the Madeira. Level 9, the Governor General. You are 57 years old. The Regulating Act of 1773 created this position. You are the first man from your generation to hold it without a parliamentary challenge. You govern a subcontinent. You govern 200 million people. You govern them from a desk in Calcutta with a quill and a seal. The subsidiary alliance system. Regional princes receive British military protection. In exchange, they pay for the cost of company troops stationed on their own soil. The troops that protect them are the same troops that would be used against them if they refused. Every prince signs. There is no version of the agreement that benefits them. They sign anyway. You end the last organised Maratha resistance at the Third Anglo-Maratha War. 2 campaign seasons. £380,000 in military expenditure. Access to £1.1 million in annual Deccan rev. The last Peshwa surrenders in June 1818. He is given a pension and a house in Bithur. He is not permitted to leave. There is no more India that is not Company India. There is no court that is not signed. There is no army that has not been absorbed or destroyed. At night you sit alone in the study of Government House. The portraits on the wall are your predecessors. Cornwallis, Wellesley, Hastings. All of them sat in this chair. All of them believed they were the last man who would need to do what they did. The door opens. An aide sets a dispatch on the desk. A new writer has arrived from England. 16 years old. His father paid £200 for the appointment. The factor assigned to meet him at the quay was detained. The boy is standing alone in the courtyard below. You walk to the window. You look down. He is still wearing the English wool jacket he left Gravesend in. It is soaked through. He has a leather satchel. He has not put it down. He is looking at the gates. He does not know which one leads to the fort. You know every step that comes after this one. You know the ledger he will be handed. You know the first rule and the second rule. You know the name of the fever coast where the ones who accept gifts will be sent. You know the first consignment that will make him feel the system was designed for him. You know what he will become. You do not go down. The cycle continues.